So, me and my boys are out on, I believe it's called the Chaos Fire from last year. If I'm wrong about that, I'll put it in the description of this. But we just had to clear a road. There was several trees across it. And now, we come up to this. And I wanted you guys to realize something. This was purposely done, looks like by the Forest Service, years ago. And here's the bad thing. This could have had access to this fire. This road goes back quite a ways. But I'm gonna come up here and I'm actually gonna crawl on top of this rock pile. They did not dig this up. It looks like they probably dug the rock out of this wall beside our vehicle. And this is what we get. They didn't dig a trench here. They literally covered this road. There's an actual bridge here. Okay, but the Forest Service covered up an access road into the forest. Excuse me, I'm slipping here.
There's a path this way, actually.
Well, I want them to see everything over this. They covered this. There's our vehicle. They covered this with rock. Why would you do that when guys could have used this road this last year? Looks like somebody brought a four-wheeler around.
Yeah.
But they could have used this road for access this last summer to this fire. And as we walk across this, I'll show you. There's fire on both sides of the road here from last summer. Me and the boys in our wood strips and the stuff we find. But this fire could have been accessed by this road. So they want to talk about how our fires get out of control. Well, if we didn't block the roads, maybe we could control our fires a little better. Just a thought. So here we are, another Forest Service road on the burn. Forest Service talk about lack of access. What do they say? Oh, climate control, right? How is this? You can see these rocks have been here a while. There's growth on them. How is this climate change? How is not getting to a fire due to tearing up the roads, blocking them off, climate change?
I also don't think those rocks stay down there.
How does this express climate change, folks? How is this climate change? This is tearing apart the woods, tearing apart roads that have access to our access into the woods and into the wilderness to fight fires. So let's clog off these roads. That's an old tree. That's not new. It's been there for a while. How is this say anything about climate change to you folks? How does this talk about climate change? This is purposely blocking off roads to make sure people can't get into them. Guess what that does? That limits your access to get into a fire. What does that do? That lets the fire grow because you have limited access to the fires. You don't hear anybody else in this area that I'm in right now is part of Floyd Prozanski's district. Why aren't our government officials screaming about this? I mean, my son's going down in there. That hole is as tall as he is. He's right at 5'6". You ain't driving a vehicle through that.
And here I am at 6 foot.
Yeah, the other one's almost 6 foot, and he's about a head taller than this hole. Where are you going to drive a vehicle through this? Where are you going to drive a fire truck? Right here's the fire. Literally, this is the fire from last summer. Right here. And according to the map, it goes way up this road from where I'm at. It goes way up this road.
Yeah.
And we can't even access it a year later. So I'm also wondering about, see all this timber down across the road? All this timber that should be fell, that's gonna sit here and rot, dry out for the next fire to come through? How is this helping Oregonians? How is this saving Oregonians' lives, property? Just let it rot, let it dry out, and let it be more kindling for the next one. That isn't helping Oregonians. This is endangering our lives, our wildlife, our stock, our farms, our homes, our cities.
Our air.
They want to talk about carbon in the air. Thank you, Ryan. My son says the air. How much carbon do you think this fire put off the first time? How much do you think it's going to put off when it's got drier, rotted fuel to burn?
And with it rotting, everything is also decomposing, which is also releasing carbon anyways.
As my other son Willard just pointed out, if it rots, it releases carbon also. So therefore, how is this helping affect our air at all? This is not helping with air quality. This is hindering our air quality. We keep wanting to talk about carbon. Well, this stuff falling, rotting on the ground, it releases carbon in our air. The fires going through release even more carbon into our air. Drier fuels, more fuels across the road, release even more carbon into the air. Look at this. You've got this tree all the way up through there that they fell. It's just been left. They don't care.
And
This.
once the next fire blows through there,
Yeah. The
and
next
more
fire
stuff's
that blows
gonna
through
rot.
here, I'm gonna.
and it's just gonna end up sitting here till the next fire.
I want to
What
check
the
this
fires
out.
do is accelerate the timetable.
Look at
the
this.
Carbon is released.
See this timber that's all down? This is all going to be dried out, and just waiting for the next spark to come through.
If we're talking about reducing global warming and everything, having it like this is not going to help. It's just going to accelerate the rate at which the planet warms up.
I love my sons being taught in schools. This is just going to accelerate the process because the more rotting, the more burn,
And
the more it accelerates global warming and climate change. But this is what the Democrats, I can't say just Democrats, liberals. This is what the politicians don't want you to hear. Look at all this timber that's still down. I mean, we're walking over timber. Look at the timber through here. Yeah. Look at this.
And some people say just because we're younger, we don't know what we're talking about. Clearly we do if we can see what's wrong and the politicians can't.
Sorry, my family aren't politicians, folks. I might be running for office against Floyd Prozanski. I'm not a politician. Here's the one thing I want you to know about me. See this one, these kids behind me? That's what matters to me. What matters to me is what we're leaving our kids. This isn't about being a politician. This is about being an Oregonian. I'm born here. I'm raised here. We come out and we pick mushrooms on these fires because, you know what, we enjoy having our time as a family together. I love having time with my boys. This is my time to get away and have fun with them. But when we see this type of stuff, this is wrong.
This makes us sad.
This is wrong.
Yeah.
This should not be happening. We should not be just leaving this timber to rot for the next fire. I'm not just putting Floyd Prozanski on notice, I'm putting every politician in Oregon. You leave it like this, you leave this stuff like this, it accelerates the rotting process, it accelerates the carbon going in there, and it accelerates for the next fire to come through, and guess what? You've released more carbon into the air because, oh, logging's not good. No, logging efficiently, thinning out, giving time for old growth to actually form is a good thing. This,
You gotta log and replant, not just let it sit here and rot.
this is not good.
Because if we log and replant, we get rid of all the old stuff.
So now,
New trees in that are taking in the carbon dioxide. And
I
putting more
never-
oxygen to the air.
I never thought that I would put the politicians, because that's what we have in Oregon right now, is a bunch of politicians that don't really care about our state. And I sit here and look at this, you're on notice. I'm going to get every blue collar Oregonian I can, whether it be female, male, I don't care. It's time we started running this state. It's time we get the guys in jeans and shirts back into the Senate, back into the governor's office.
And this not only concerns me for
I'm
our
done.
generation, but for the generation
I'm
after
tired.
ours.
Yeah, the generations after yours, your nieces and nephews. See, my boys now have nieces and nephews from their older sister, and one of their older sisters is pregnant. What are we leaving behind for our next generations? What are we leaving behind for our kids, our grandkids, my grandkids? See, the supposed climate change, the supposed What was it? Global warming first. Oh no, actually, in the 80s, we had a hole in the ozone layer. That's not talked about anymore. That was let go. Then it was global warming. Well, when we showed that global warming wasn't actually a thing, it was climate change. Climate change has been around for millions of years. The dinosaurs would still be the top of the food chain if climate change wasn't a thing. You're not telling us anything we don't know. But you're not helping the situation. Oregonian, it's just time we really take back our life. It's time we take back the woods and we do what's right by our next generations. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.